enough. Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life. I hope you're well. I hope you're holding up in the midst of all of this drama called COVID virus number 19. Okay. But it is the new moon. The new moon goes on with or without our issues. And quite personally, I'm glad to be spending some time focusing on her and not focusing on the catastrophe. And so this is actually the first new moon of the spring. So it really suggests newness and new life and new birth, and that dark time or that dark space that we're in right before we are born or reborn into the world. For those of you who are keeping up with ascensions, this is another phase of ascension, and I think that those of you who are mediums and channels are catching that information and understanding this in that way and how this reflects us and who we are. And so information about the new moon that's coming in is also helpful in understanding that too. The moons have been off the chain all the way through 2020. Of course, they're always off the chain, I'm sure. But I have been really paying special attention to those that have been coming through since January, and it just seems like she is guiding, she is pulling, she is coaxing, and she's bringing us in for a very necessary landing. And so as we are continuing to work through what's happening around us physically, in terms of our health and our well-being, then it's also important, and just as important, to focus on our spiritual well-being and making sure that we're up to par, that we feel good about who we are, and that we're taking this with the care and the concern for ourselves and others as we go along. So anyway, first new moon of the spring season, right after the vernal equinox that came in on the 19th, 20th, somewhere in there. It is in Aries. It's in the 4th degree of Aries, and according to Sabian astrology, it gives a sense of transcendence comes with this moon in this degree. And it is also about self-actualization, and I think that that's really interesting, considering that we are all kind of in a bubble right now. Some people are in a bubble alone by themselves in their homes. Some people are in the bubble with their families. Some of that's going good, some of it's not going good for other folks. It just depends on the situation. But this is the time that we can really truly focus on what's good with us and what's not good with us. It's a great time to set boundaries. It's a good time to meditate. It's a good time to go within. And it's also a time that a lot of people are going to be dealing with issues, whether they want to or not, because the quiet and the time away from our usual distractions is there. It's there for you to mill around in. And so it's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing, but it's not an entirely bad thing. And we want to, as much as possible, think toward the positive. So it's it also talks about thinking about your values, considering your values, what you value the most. And I'm sure lots of people are thinking about valuing their lives, but valuing the lives of others right now. There's a lot of healthcare workers out there who are putting their lives at stake to make sure that other people are healthy. So when we think about our values and what we value and what's important to us, and then aligning ourselves with those values so you're not disjointed. A lot of times people are unhappy and they're unhealthy because they're not aligned with their purpose, and your purpose is connected to what you value. So the things that you esteem, that are in high esteem with you, or the things that you appreciate the most, are very important, and you want to make sure that you are not excluding yourself from that bigger picture. All right, so let's see what else. The moon is in conjunct with the sun. Of course, it is also in 4 degrees Aries, and so the sun and the moon are both in the same degree, both equally focused in the same direction. And this is a time when you can really make things move. What's coming to my mind right now is the Chariot card, because the Chariot shows 2 horses, usually a black and a white horse, or it could be 2 different animals, but the Chariot indicates or implies that there are 2 sides of a issue or something that have to be aligned so that things can move forward. So this is about the alignment. This is about bringing the masculine and the feminine, the dark and the light, these 2 sides, or if there's any kind of duality, any kind of friction, any kind of conflict, or anything like that, that you are bringing that together. And the focus really is about your own ascension, your own transcendence, transcending where you were in 2019, or transcending where you were just a month ago, because now we're in a very different place. So that's something for you to be thinking about. There's also a sextile with Saturn. Saturn is in 0 degrees Aquarius, and I am going to be watching this Saturn because Saturn has just left Capricorn. It's been there for quite some time. It is just going into Aquarius, but it is going to retrograde soon. And when it retrogrades, it's going to go back through Capricorn again. So we're going to have some additional lessons. We're going to have some repeats and things like that that are going on. So I just want to keep you aware of that, that we'll be watching Saturn's movements over the next few months to a year, just to see what it's telling us and what we need to think about, because Saturn has been a key player in the shifts, in the reorganization, in the shaping of this new paradigm that we are living in. And so there's been messages about this is going to be the new norm. I'm not accepting of that, because I'm not interested in having a norm that looks like this. But if we use those words and we think about what they mean, then what you're saying is that if this is going to be the new norm, then how do we infuse some harmony and some peace and some togetherness and some unity at the same time? Because again, with the moon being in the 4th and the sun being in the 4th degree of Aries, there is this longing for unity. There is this need for that. So excuse me. As you all are preparing during the new moon, these are some things for you to think about. These are some things to ponder on as you're doing your meditations, your prayers, or your rituals, whatever it is that you do around the new moon. But for those of you who are just trying to use the moon as a tool for guidance, as a guiding tool, then you'll want to think about, or write about, journal about, dance about, create art around what it is how you feel like you are ascending through this process that we're going through right now. Okay, so I am going to pause the video for just a second. That's just some basic information for you that will let you know astrologically what's happening at this time and during the new moon, so that it can inform how you are going to do your affirmations, or set your goals, or develop some new standards, or set new boundaries, or whatever it is that the moon is moving you to do right now. But I'm going to grab the Lenormand deck, and I'm just going to give a general read to see what we all need to collectively be thinking about during this new moon. All right, I am going to be reading from the Dreaming Way Lenormand. The artist is Quan Sheena. Some really beautiful images here, but I've been working with the Lenormand for the past 2 or 3 days, and it's been giving me some great messages. So what I'm going to do is just pull a few pairs to see what it is that we all collectively need to put our attention on for this new moon. And any other messages that need to come through for us. All right, so I have the first pair is the snake. The snake implies that there is a poison, that there is something poisonous that has encircled itself around us collectively. I can't help but think the obvious there. And we have to not just address the issue itself, because certainly if there's a poisonous snake wrapped up around you, you got to deal with the imminent danger first. And so that's what we're dealing with, the imminent danger. But this card also implies that that the individual there is not as innocent as they seem, meaning that they have in some way drawn this or enticed this or brought this in. I can't help feeling that that may not be the case with what we're dealing with collectively. We have to think about that. And then there is the woman here. There's a lady here. Usually lady just represents something of a feminine nature. Something of a feminine nature. So let's look at that a little deeper. I don't think it's any kind of feminine curse. I thought I better say that. Somebody's like, what is it? What women done done? Nothing. All right, we have the moon here. And the fox, which I always see also as an older woman. Someone who is keen, clever, resourceful. So it's definitely a call for the feminine here. Getting a lot of feminine cards here. We have the ring, which implies commitment, things that we commit to, how we are committing ourselves, what's important to us. Remember, we talked a bit about values, and that's coupled with the ship. So I'm just going to stop right there for just a few seconds and just regroup here. Collective messages for all of us. Okay. So the women, both in this situation and this situation, is about the intuitive side. It's about your feminine side, which is your intuitive side. So this is awakening of the intuitive side, of our intuitive nature. In this case, we are using our intuition to protect ourselves as a form of protection. Using your instincts. Again, with the new moon, there was an admonition to do that, to use your instincts, your impulses to make decisions, which is a lot different than what we usually do, because some people are accustomed to using their cognitive, just kind of, pros and cons, or delineating a list or something like that. But in this case, we really are having to feel our way through and use our intuition. Okay, I've got the garden here. Yeah, we're going to have to use our intuition right now. This is about an ascension. This is the commitment and the ship together, to me, are about what are your commitments? What are you committed to? What do you stand for? What is important to you? And that ship is coming in on that. It's like it's time for it. Ship has already sailed on that. And so now it's time to step up. So there's a couple of things going on right now. Like I said, I got the garden here. Let's see what comes up with that. I told you Lenormand has been going deep in the rider. So there is a harvest. We've already talked about that. We talked about that actually with the last full moon, I believe, talking about a harvest and this being a time for harvest, expecting the harvest, know that it's coming. And that's what these two cards mean to me right now. So for collective measures, one, we are using our intuition. We're using our intuition. We're using our insight. We are having to feel our way through right now, and you're going to have to rely on your feminine wiles. Your feminine wiles are not just acting effeminate, that's not the same thing. Your feminine wiles your feminine wiles are your intuition, your instinct, your feeling senses. And so you're going to have to kind of feel your way through. The moon is a good way to do that. Again, when you connect yourself with the energy of the moon, basically what you're doing is you're awakening your intuition. For some of you who are starting to make your connection with the moon energy, you may find that your dreams pick up, or that you may pick up things very quickly. That's because you're getting connected there. And so this one is more or less about being sharp, right? Connecting to the moon, allowing you to be sharp, savvy, and able to maneuver well. So it's not just being the feminine wiles or being able to connect to your intuition, but it's specific, and the specificity is that it will allow you to be sharp and quick-witted, and you can sense things, and you can move like you need to move, because you got to be able to move when the spirit says move. All right, so examine your commitments, because this is what's coming in right now. It's coming right on up to your face. What are you truly committing yourself to? What are you married to? Who are you married to? Are you happy? Is that working out for you? You've got to really get clear on that. This is also about alignment too, aligning to your true purpose, because whatever you commit to is really, or what you're able to commit to is what is a part of your spiritual purpose, what's a part of your divine purpose. All of that is driving everything that's happening in your life. It's pushing you toward your highest good, or whatever level you could possibly reach in this lifetime. And so when you feel off is when you're not in alignment with what your true values are. And if you're not in alignment with what your real values are, then you're going to be off center with your purpose, because your purpose and your values and the things that you believe deeply in and the things that you care about the most are really driving that. So think about that during this time. And again, the outcome, what I'm seeing is that there is a garden for you. There is a harvest coming as a result of this. And it is also coming quickly and coming with a lot of power. But there are things that have to go in order for it to come. There's things that have to be released, that you have to let go of in order for you to be able to really to manifest all of this together. So get connected with your moon, get connected with your feminine side, get connected with your feminine nature, with your intuitive nature, with your recessive side, your inner being. All of that counts, okay? Your dreams, your subconscious, all of that, you need to get in touch with that so that you'll know how to move and maneuver, and so that you'll know how to protect yourself adequately. Get out of your head, get into your feelings a little more, and you should be satisfied with the outcome. It is a little bit of work still that we're doing, but this is good, solid work. You'll be glad you did it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be glad you did it. All right, so that is the new moon view for you for March 24th. Tune in again for the full moon that'll be coming up next month. If you want to know more about what's going on with your moon, you can get a moon reading from me. All you have to do is reach out to Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life. You can also check out the readings on the website. That's at wooingnature.life. As always, I hope you have a great new moon, and I hope you're having a wonderful life.